Focus on yourself in 2026, for when the mind is clear about its purpose, the world begins to rearrange itself in your favor. Quit scattering your energy on noise and opinions, because success comes to the one who concentrates on growth, not gossip. Every day you invest in your own discipline, skills, and faith, you plant a seed that must one day bear fruit. Remember this: progress doesn't shout, it works quietly while others are busy watching. So stay focused, trust your vision, and move forward steadily, because a focused mind is the starting point of all achievement. Direct your energy inward, because self-mastery is the foundation of all lasting success. Eliminate distractions and idle opinions, for focus sharpens purpose and multiplies results. Commit daily to personal growth, knowing that consistent effort always precedes achievement. When you decide to direct your energy inward, something powerful begins to happen, almost quietly at first, like the turning of a key in a long, locked door, because self-mastery is not about controlling the world around you, but about governing the thoughts, emotions, habits, and reactions that live inside you. And once you understand this, everything else starts to fall into place without force or struggle. See, most people waste their best years trying to fix others, impress crowds, chase validation, or fight battles that were never meant for them. And while they're busy pointing fingers, their own potential sits untouched, collecting dust. But the moment you choose to focus on yourself, truly focus, not selfishly but intentionally, you step onto a different path, one where growth becomes inevitable, because self-mastery begins with awareness, noticing how you think when things go wrong, how you speak to yourself when you fail, how quickly you give up when results don't come fast, and once you see these patterns, you gain power over them, and power, real power, has always started from within, not outside, not from money, not from titles, not from applause, but from the ability to command your own mind, because a person who can control their impulses, discipline their time, and guide their emotions can never truly be defeated, no matter what life throws at them. And this is where most people get it wrong. They think success is about doing more, hustling harder, chasing endlessly, but success has always been about becoming more, sharpening the inner instrument so that every action produces greater results with less effort. And as you move into 2026, the world will be louder than ever, distractions flashing from every screen, opinions flying from every direction, people rushing, comparing, panicking, but the one who wins will be the one who can stay centered, calm, and focused, the one who knows their values, their goals, their direction, because when you master yourself, you stop reacting and start responding, you stop drifting and start directing, and this shift alone separates leaders from followers, achievers from dreamers. Now think about this for a moment. Every habit you repeat is a vote for the person you are becoming. Every excuse weakens your authority over yourself. Every disciplined action strengthens it, and slowly, almost invisibly, you build trust with yourself, and that trust becomes confidence, not the loud kind, but the quiet kind that doesn't need approval, because you know you can rely on yourself. And when challenges arise, as they always do, you don't collapse, you adjust, because self-mastery trains you to stay steady under pressure, to keep moving when motivation fades, to act based on principle rather than mood. And this is the foundation of all lasting success, not luck, not talent alone, but the ability to stay consistent when no one is watching, when results are slow, when doubts creep in late at night. And let's be honest, mastering yourself isn't glamorous. It doesn't come with instant rewards. There are no shortcuts, just daily choices, choosing to wake up when comfort begs you to stay asleep, choosing to work on your skills while others scroll endlessly, choosing to say no to distractions so you can say yes to your future. And yes, some days it feels lonely, like you're walking a road others don't understand. But that's the price of growth, because average paths are always crowded, while disciplined paths are quiet, and in that quiet, you hear your own voice clearly. For The first time your real desires, your true goals, not borrowed dreams, not expectations placed on you by others, but what genuinely matters to you, and once you align your actions with that inner truth, momentum builds naturally because you're no longer fighting yourself, you're working with yourself, and this harmony is rare, yet unstoppable, because when your thoughts, emotions, and actions move in the same direction, progress accelerates, and here's the part most people overlook. Self-mastery doesn't mean perfection, it means progress, it means learning from mistakes instead of being crushed by them, it means correcting your course without self-hate, it means forgiving yourself quickly but holding yourself accountable firmly, because discipline without compassion leads to burnout, and compassion without discipline leads to stagnation, so balance becomes key, and as you develop this balance, your standards rise naturally. You stop tolerating habits, environments, and relationships that drain you, not out of arrogance, but out of respect for your future self. And people may not understand this change, some may even resist it, because when you improve, it reminds others of what they've neglected, but that's not your burden to carry. Your responsibility is to grow, to become capable, grounded, and resilient, because the more you master yourself, the more value you bring to the world, and value is what creates opportunities, influence, and impact, not noise. Not desperation, and certainly not comparison. Comparison is a thief that steals focus, energy, and joy, and self. Mastery shuts that door completely, because when you know your path, you're not distracted by someone else's pace. You understand that growth is personal, timelines differ, seasons change, and your only real competition is the person you were yesterday, and this mindset frees you. It removes pressure, replaces anxiety with clarity, and allows you to work steadily, patiently, confidently, day after day, and over time, results compound, small disciplines turn into major breakthroughs, unseen efforts turn into visible success, and people begin to call it overnight success. Not knowing the nights you spent building yourself quietly, refining your character, strengthening your mind, choosing growth when quitting would have been easier. And this is why focusing on yourself in 2026 is not a retreat from the world, it's preparation for it, because the world doesn't need more distracted people, it needs grounded ones, people who know who they are, what they stand for, and where they're going, and that kind of clarity can only come from self-mastery, from directing your energy inward before projecting it outward. So start small, start today, guard your mind, manage your time, refine your habits, speak to yourself with intention, act with discipline, and trust the process, because every step you take toward mastering yourself is a step toward a future that can't be taken away from you, and once you build that inner foundation, success is no longer something you chase. It becomes something you attract naturally, effortlessly, because you've become the kind of person it follows. Eliminating distractions and idle opinions is not an act of isolation, it's an act of self-respect, because focus is the force that sharpens purpose and multiplies results, and without it, even the most talented mind scatters its power in 100 useless directions. See, the world today is designed to pull you apart, notifications buzzing, opinions shouting, comparisons flashing everywhere, everyone demanding a piece of your attention as if your attention were cheap. But attention is not cheap. It's your life in minutes and hours, once spent, never returned, and the person who learns to guard it gains an unfair advantage, because while others are reacting, you're creating, while others are consuming, you're building, and this difference, though subtle at first, grows massive over time. Now think about idle opinions for a moment, advice given without understanding your vision. Criticism from people who have never walked your path, praise that feels good but adds no value, all of it noise, harmless. looking yet dangerous because it slowly bends your direction, weakens your confidence, and replaces your inner voice with borrowed beliefs. And when that happens, focus fades. Purpose blurs and progress slows, not because you lack ability, but because your mind is crowded, and a crowded mind can't aim. Focus demands simplicity, not in life, but in thought, knowing what matters and letting the rest fall away without guilt. And this takes courage, because saying no to distractions often means disappointing people, stepping away from trends, ignoring gossip, and choosing silence when everyone else is shouting. But silence is where clarity lives, and clarity is where power begins, because when you eliminate distractions, you give your goals room to breathe. You stop rushing, stop second guessing, stop starting over every time a new idea, fear, or opinion appears, and instead you commit deeply, patiently, knowing that results don't come from scattered effort, they come from sustained attention over time, and this is where most people fail, not from lack of ambition, but from lack of focus. They jump from plan to plan, inspired one day, discouraged the next, pulled by emotions, trends, and external approval, and they call it flexibility, but in truth, it's avoidance of the discomfort that comes with sticking to one path long enough to see real results. Focus, on the other hand, asks you to endure boredom, repetition, and uncertainty. It asks you to trust the process even when progress feels invisible, and this trust grows stronger when you stop listening to idle opinions, because opinions are cheap. Everyone has one, but few are rooted in wisdom, discipline, or experience, and when you give equal weight to every voice, you lose your own, and once you lose your own voice, you lose direction. Now here's something important. Eliminating distractions doesn't mean escaping responsibility or shutting out learning. It means choosing input intentionally, feeding your mind what strengthens it, not what entertains it temporarily, because entertainment without purpose drains energy, while focused learning multiplies it, and energy, directed energy, is the secret behind every achievement worth having. When you wake up each day with clear priorities and protect them fiercely, something shifts. You move with intention, you act instead of react, you finish what you start, and finishing builds confidence, not the loud kind, but the steady kind that comes from knowing you can be trusted by yourself, and that confidence fuels even greater focus, creating a cycle of growth that compounds over time. Now let's talk about distraction in its sneakiest form: comparison, looking sideways at others' progress, timelines, and outcomes, and quietly questioning your own. Comparison feels productive like research, but it's poison because it pulls your attention away from your lane, and every time you look sideways, you slow down forward motion. Focus demands loyalty to your own journey, understanding that success isn't a race, it's alignment. Alignment between who you are, what you value, and what you do daily, and that alignment collapses when outside opinions take control, because then you start living reactively, adjusting your goals to please, impress, or compete, rather than to fulfill your true purpose. And purpose diluted is power lost. This is why solitude, even in small doses, becomes essential. Moments without noise, without screens, without voices, where you reconnect with your intentions, review your progress honestly, and recalibrate your direction. These moments aren't empty, they're productive in the deepest sense, because they restore focus, and a focused mind sees opportunity others miss, solutions others overlook, and paths others never consider. And as you sharpen your focus, you'll notice something else. Your tolerance for nonsense drops. You become selective with conversations, environments, and commitments, not because you're superior, but because you finally understand the cost of distraction. You see that every yes to the wrong thing is a no to the right thing. And this awareness brings discipline, and discipline brings freedom, freedom from chaos, from constant doubt, from living at the mercy of external noise. And with this freedom, your purpose sharpens naturally, goals become clearer, actions become more effective, and results begin to show, not overnight, but steadily, predictably, and when results appear, opinions grow louder, praise and criticism both increase. But now, they don't shake you, because your focus is internal, grounded in process, not applause, and this is the mindset that multiplies results because you're no longer driven by reaction, you're driven by intention, you're not chasing motivation, you're practicing discipline, and discipline outlasts motivation every time, especially when things get hard, and they will get hard because meaningful goals demand endurance, but endurance is only possible when distractions are minimized and purpose remains front and center. Otherwise, the first obstacle feels overwhelming, the first delay feels like failure, and the first criticism feels personal, but with focus. Obstacles become adjustments, delays become lessons, and criticism becomes irrelevant unless it improves your craft. And this emotional stability is a direct result of eliminating idle opinions, because you stop giving strangers authority over your self-worth, you stop outsourcing your confidence. And you reclaim control over your mental space, and once you control your mental space, you control your outcomes more than you ever thought possible. So as you move forward, remember this. Focus is not about doing more things, it's about doing fewer things better with full attention, patience, and commitment, and every time you remove a distraction, ignore an idle opinion, or choose silence over noise, you strengthen that focus little by little, day by day, and eventually, what once required effort becomes natural. Clarity replaces confusion, direction replaces doubt, and progress accelerates, not because life became easier, but because you became sharper, calmer, and more deliberate. And in that state, results don't just improve, they multiply, because a focused mind, free from distraction and idle opinion, becomes a powerful instrument, capable of turning vision into reality with steady, unstoppable momentum. Committing daily to personal growth is one of the quietest decisions you'll ever make, yet it carries the loudest consequences over time because growth doesn't announce itself, it accumulates, and every small effort you repeat today shapes the direction of your life tomorrow, whether you notice it or not. See, most people wait for big moments to change, New Year's, breakthroughs, perfect conditions, but the truth is, lasting achievement has always been built on ordinary days handled with extraordinary consistency, and when you understand that consistent effort always precedes achievement, patience replaces frustration because you stop chasing results and start trusting process, and this shift alone removes a huge weight from your shoulders. Now think about how growth really happens, not in dramatic leaps, but in inches, reading a few pages when you'd rather scroll, practicing skill when no one is watching, choosing discipline when motivation is nowhere to be found, and these choices feel insignificant in the moment, almost pointless, but compounded over weeks, months, and years, they create a version of you that feels almost unrecognizable to the person you once were. And this is where many give up because they underestimate the power of daily commitment. They want fast proof, instant validation, but growth works quietly beneath the surface, like roots spreading before a tree ever breaks ground. And if you dig up the soil every day to check progress, you kill the process. So commitment means showing up even when doubt whispers that it's not working. It means honoring your routine even when results feel delayed. And this kind of faith in effort is rare. But it's also the separator between those who dream and those who achieve. Now here's something crucial. Personal growth isn't just about skills or knowledge. It's about character, habits, mindset, and identity, because you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems, and systems are built daily through repeated choices. How you start your mornings, what you feed your mind, how you respond to setbacks, what standards you enforce when no one is holding you accountable, and when you commit daily, you stop negotiating with yourself, you stop asking how you feel, and start acting based on who you're becoming, and that identity shift changes everything. Because once you see yourself as someone who shows up, who improves steadily, who honors commitments, quitting feels unnatural, excuses feel weak, and progress becomes inevitable, even if it's slow, and slow progress, when consistent, is unstoppable. Now let's be honest, daily commitment isn't glamorous. It can feel boring, repetitive, even lonely, because while others chase excitement, you're building foundation. While others talk, you're practicing. While others start, you're continuing. And continuation is where most people fail, not because they lack desire, but because they lack endurance. And endurance is trained through daily effort, like a muscle strengthened by use. Every day you push a little past comfort, you expand your capacity mentally and emotionally, and over time, challenges that once felt heavy begin to feel manageable, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. And this strength reflects outward. Opportunities find you, people trust you, results begin to show, and suddenly, what felt invisible becomes visible. But by then, you've already won, because your confidence is no longer dependent on outcomes. It's rooted in identity. You know who you are because of what you do daily, and that's unshakable. Now consider how most people treat growth: inconsistently, intensely for a short burst, then nothing. They rely on motivation, inspiration, emotional highs, but motivation fades, life interferes, moods change, and when growth is tied to emotion, it collapses under pressure. Daily commitment removes emotion from the equation. It turns growth into a habit, a non-negotiable, something you do the way you brush your teeth, not exciting, but essential. And once growth becomes habitual, achievement becomes predictable, because effort is no longer random. It's structured, focused, and aligned with long-term vision. And this alignment creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence, and confidence fuels further action, forming a loop that compounds powerfully over time. Now here's the part few talk about: committing daily also teaches humility, because progress reveals how much you don't know, how much there is to improve, and instead of discouraging you, this awareness sharpens you. It keeps you curious, grounded, open to learning, and humility is a hidden advantage, because it allows growth to continue long after ego would have stopped it. And as you grow, mistakes don't destroy you, they instruct you. Yours don't define you, they refine you, because daily commitment shifts your relationship with failure. You stop seeing it as a verdict and start seeing it as feedback, information guiding your next step. And this mindset keeps you moving forward when others freeze or quit. And remember this: achievement is not a single event, it's a pattern built by daily effort repeated long enough to produce mastery. And mastery, once achieved, opens doors effortlessly, not because luck intervened, but because preparation finally met opportunity. And opportunities always favor the prepared, not the hopeful. And preparation is nothing more than consistent effort applied intelligently over time. So when you commit daily, even on days you feel tired, uninspired, or unsure, you're stacking invisible advantages that don't disappear during hard times, advantages that stay with you, shaping your reactions, decisions, and resilience. And eventually, people will ask how you stayed so disciplined, so focused, so steady, and the answer will be simple: you committed daily when it didn't matter, so it mattered when it counted. And this is the quiet power of consistent effort. It removes drama from success, replaces chaos with clarity, and turns potential into reality, one ordinary day at a time. So as you move forward, don't underestimate today, don't dismiss small actions, don't wait for perfect conditions. Commit now, commit daily, commit imperfectly if you must, but commit consistently, because every effort you make today is a vote for the future you're building. And when enough of those votes are cast, achievement becomes unavoidable, not because you wished for it, but because you earned it, step by step, day by day, through steady, faithful, disciplined effort that never stopped working, even when no one was watching.